Welcome to Two Nerds and an Actor. We are the entertainment podcast for the nerd adjacent to the nerd aficionado, where we give you bi-weekly reviews of a popular TV show and a movie, where we tell you in hilarious fashion what to watch and why. This is season 4, episode 10. I am here with my nerd kings of the Bronx, Mike Santana.
Ooh, Nerd Kings of the Bronx. I only have 2 legs, so I can't be crazy legs. you need like 8 of those.
You're 8 crazy legs?
Shout out to Crazy Legs.
Hey.
And France Jerome.
Can you cosplay it?
Oh, that's cute. And I'm your firefighter, Aisha Jordan.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh, see, he went Crazy Legs. I went to Warriors. You said firefighters. I'm thinking the Bronx is burning.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
I was just trying to stick to the movie.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but that movie takes place in Staten Island.
But they were still firefighters. There's firefighters everywhere. And they were the lead. The firefighters were the lead. Anyways, if you didn't know, we're going to be talking about King of Staten Island. We will give you a no spoilers review and a spoilae, as well as the very much talked about I May Destroy You on HBO with Michelle Cole.
Is it the very much talked? Well, I guess we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. I've been hearing things. This is the only reason I wanted to watch it. I've been hearing things. But we will also be giving you some nerdy leaks on some terrible treatments of actors, some voice actors who are stepping back so others can step up, and some other movies that might be coming back into production because apparently we're in some other phase than a pandemic.
Also,
we're still in phase 1, really.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what Fauci said. But yo, so y'all know as listeners, we are in the Bronx live and direct. You will be subject to loud motorbikes, race cars, and or fireworks.
Yeah, them fireworks. We had them last time, though. You know, they're on purpose. They're on purpose.
Planned.
Everybody outside was like, let's get it going. They're recording. Anyway, so let's get started. Nerdy leaks. First topic. I just saw this today, actually, and I didn't realize it was a thing that a lot of people have talked about, that apparently, like, Joss Whedon is, like, a shitty person on set, and he's, like, a terrible person. What? That's what's
accusations.
Been said. Everybody's been posting all this stuff about how he's like really mean on set. So the guy who plays Cyborg,
Ray Fisher.
So Ray Fisher is everybody.
Well, then apparently
he's not even the best cyborg in DC's stable.
Well, he was saying his post was like that he treated everyone like that. That it was just like not just him. And then also like this girl who was in Buffy, that he killed her off before it was really needed because she was pregnant, and it made him mad that she was pregnant.
As a diehard Buffy fan, I'm so tight at what he did to Charisma Carpenter.
That's her name.
Who plays Chastity. I'm so mad.
Yeah, so apparently she was like, not like some people were saying that she was afraid to tell him that she was pregnant because it was like she was like, I was on the show for 8 years, like life happens, but he wants to be in control, and like you get pregnant, you can't control when you're pregnant. So she was afraid of telling him, and then she did, and he proceeded to put her character in a coma and then have her never come back. Which I don't watch Buffy. So I didn't know these things, which is why I'm saying
Me either.
I just heard these things today.
I didn't fucking watch Buffy.
That wildin'.
What? I did not.
That was peak TV.
No, that was peak Channel 11 crap.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't watch that.
Fuck out of here.
I watched more Charmed than I did
Yes,
Buffy.
the last we can share everything.
All right, I resign.
I did watch more Charmed
We're
than
gonna
I
have
did.
to have a Charmed special.
You
No.
watched all the Channel 11 things except for like One Tree Hill.
and Charmed.
I had him watch One Tree
Right.
Hill a couple times though,
with
because
Chad Michaels.
I don't even remember what
I thought it
happened.
was
on
Chad
that
Michael
show.
Murray.
It is.
Oh, okay. I'm offended you doubled up on, my name.
No, that's from Blades of Glory.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, the character is Chad Michaels.
No, we're not. No.
well, do you think the accusations are true?
I mean, damn, if it's
I don't know.
if it's going from Charisma Carpenter in the 90s all the way through to Ray Fisher now, damn.
I don't know.
I haven't heard any direct testimony. Most folks I'm only hearing it's a polarized thing. Either he's a complete professional or people are like, oh, he's just some fucked up shit.
But isn't it a direct testimony from the guy who was directed by him, Ray Fisher?
Yeah, essentially, if an actor's talking about a director's experience with a director, that's pretty much cut dry. That's what it was.
He's just like coming out of nowhere, like, yeah, I hated him, JK.
Which is only awkward because he had to retract the statement that he made at Comic-Con when things were still in the works and popping off, where he was just like rode the wave, like, yeah, it was fun. It was
If
cool.
you look at his face, though, so there's like this video that's going because he's come out and said Joss Whedon is the worst. If you look at this video, though, he's at, I think it looks like San Diego Comic-Con, and they're like, oh, what is it like, whatever, like working with Joss Whedon, and he's like, yeah, no, it's great. I would go back in a heartbeat. And he was like looking around the room, like completely disinterested with his statement. Like it sounded like he said it because he was like, I need to say this thing so that I can keep my job. Like it didn't look like he was really believed what he said.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think we should take all of, people coming forward and talking about the misdeeds or whatever of people in power. We should take them all seriously. But personally, I have no idea. I mean, outside of these two incidences that you guys are talking about, for sure, Joss Whedon has been criticized in terms of some of the ways that he's portrayed characters, his directing and things like that. We joke about the sweeping low-angle butt shots that he gets all the time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I haven't heard him say anything in regards to what Ray Fisher said, so I think jury's still out, but everything needs to be taken seriously because if anything, 2020 has been the year of exposing motherfuckers like left and right.
Yeah. I think it's important for me as an actor, like, being a part of sets like that. Like, if I wanted to be on Avengers as being directed, I would be excited. But if I got there and was like treated like shit for like 3 straight months,
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't come here to be treated like shit.
Right. If you wanted to go Chuck E. Cheese your whole life and you finally go and then you see a rat in the corner, I think that would put a damper on your experience.
But it's in the commercial. But I think it's always strange because it's just this thing of some people have some actors or just parts of the cast and crew have a different experience as a person with a director. I was like, so I'm always like, maybe this person had a negative, maybe other people didn't have a negative experience. I'm waiting for Chris Evans to weigh in.
Right?
If America's ass is okay, what are we doing?
Then we're fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, talking about some people who aren't doing shitty things, Netflix again, out here for Black Lives. They're literally putting their money everywhere. So apparently they're putting, $100 million into Black-owned banks. So wherever they have their banks now, which I'm sure is something like Chase or something like everybody
Deutsche.
else uses, exactly. They are now putting their money into Black-owned banks, or at least 100 million of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Whereas Whereas the $100 million donation they gave to HBCs, we talked about last episode. Yeah. That gesture to me is a lot different than putting $100 million into banks, because they have tens of billions, if not 100 billion. So it's like, what is 10 million? What is 100 million? What is 100 million?
The billions that they...
That's the equivalent of like, a middle income person maybe putting $500 or $200 in a bank.
Well, I guess the idea is like, with banks is that the interest, you know what I mean? So those banks are making a ridiculous amount of interest off of their money. Now, if it's a credit union, that's dope. If it's just like another big ass bank, which I doubt it would be.
If it's a black owned bank, then it prolongs the life of the bank and increases the output that the bank can have and how many people can buy into the bank from the community. So, I mean, it's a big move economically for black owned banks, which there aren't that many of.
Right.
I'm saying, why not 200?
I mean, it's true.
Netflix is talking to you.
I don't know why they were like only this amount.
I'm gonna get greedy now, because now they're like 100 million here, 100 million there. Now what's the next move? 100 million somewhere else?
100 million to me.
Starting to sound kind of cookie cutter.
Nah, put us on Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, 100 million.
100 million. I'll give you so many.
To Black Run podcasts.
Boom.
Nah, give us a show.
Give us the show.
I'm gonna be honest, we don't need 100 million for that, but
I need
what are you doing? That's Joe Rogan money.
And
yo, how much does Joe Rogan really make?
Whatever MMA fight is making the championship.
No,
oh my god.
Yeah, but he makes that a week. He got the 100 million Spotify deal. So
100 million?
Yeah.
No.
I like how 100 million is like something I say in comedy to people all the time. 100 million. It's like comedy. Right. And now it's like,
all right, well, he got comedy money.
Ooh.
Do they have like $100 million bills? You're just like, and here's your money. Like,
first of all, that'd be tragically scary. Imagine you got $100 million bill in your wallet.
And you trying to buy a soda.
You're like, you got change?
Then you got to buy a whole factory.
Damn it.
Because they ain't got change.
Just came in here for one bottle.
Let me get that shipment. you just wanted a sip.
Speaking of change,
no. We don't know what it is.
Oh, those voice actors. The voice actors on so many shows are stepping down.
Oh, the animated joints.
Mm-hmm. So the guy who voices Cleveland Brown,
Mike Henry,
the white guy who has voiced Cleveland Brown for more than a decade.
Yeah. So basically there's like a lot of black characters in cartoons that are all voiced by very white people. And it's like the ones that you don't know too. Susie was still voiced by a black person. I need to be clear.
Susie from Rugrats.
Yeah. Cree Summer is a god and she should always be worshipped. So, but things like Family Guy, this guy, what's his name?
Mike Henry.
Mike Henry does the voice of Cleveland Brown. And I believe like other black characters that have come in and out. And then who did the voice of what's his name on The Simpsons?
Oh, Hank Azaria, who does
Hank Azaria.
95% of the
See, that's the thing. Like Hank on The Simpsons, like there's like 5 people who do like 10 million voices, and I think he was doing like all the black voices too. So it's like
he's doing a lot of them, not all of them.
He was doing a lot of them, and then also Kristen Bell. Haha, I have names. Stepped down from a show that I actually don't know.
Central Park. I'm not sure. Was it even out yet? But
they're like, we're back and re-recording. And then the other one I know of was
Jenny Slate.
Right. Jenny Slate stepped down from Big Mouth because she was playing Missy, which I didn't know. I was like watching one episode. I was like, who the hell does this voice? And I looked it up and I was like, damn. I would not have thought Jenny Slate did that.
Allison Brie also came out the other day and said that she regrets doing the voice on BoJack Horseman of
Diane,
of a Vietnamese American character, and she was saying that she felt like, those roles should go to folks that represent the culture, that represent that particular group of people. And it's like, I'm looking at them all like I broke like that South Park episode. and we're not even gonna get into South Park because that's problematic on its own. But I'm saying I remember that episode where everybody's stepping up, and it's like so many people step up that they miss the point of why there was an issue in the first place,
right?
With the dam.
Mm-hmm. I take responsibility.
I'm looking at the landscape, and I'm like, motherfuckers better leave Phil Lamar alone, because Phil Lamar, who is an African American black male, famously is the voice of One Samurai Jack.
He is.
Who is, for all intents and purposes, Japanese.
Right.
So I'm like,
It seems unlikely that voice actors are color.
Says who? But that's the thing. Says
because it's about opportunity, and it's about opportunity.
Okay, so that's
inclusion.
an opportunity for a Japanese person.
Okay, but Samurai
who are even
Jack,
more marginalized, perhaps in Hollywood, than probably even black people are.
But Samurai Jack is over.
No, I mean, it is, but it isn't. There's a game coming out, which is canon, and a lot of people have been making a big deal of that because there hasn't been that many Samurai Jack, like, things to buy.
Like, proper anything.
Yeah, anything. So there's a game coming out soon, and that, I believe he's voicing that.
I mean, that
and
is
they
an
can always bring it back
opportunity.
15 years from now, like they fucking did the series, like, who knows?
But even then, like, there's a thing as voice matching, right? So you can find a Japanese person who can do Samurai Jack's voice. It's just about finding that person.
But doesn't that get problematic then? Because what if there's a white guy who does a voice that's really fucking good for a character that isn't white?
I mean, Mike Henry's Cleveland is hilarious. That's the whole point.
I was like, I don't know how they're gonna replace that.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I like these gestures that are being made right now. It's trickier for me in voice acting than it is in like live action stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, I'll put it this way, okay? So I'm trying to get into the voice acting world, right? Mm-hmm. But if there are people in these rooms, right, who are only hiring their friends or like hiring specific people, I'm never going to get the chance to do the voice of Missy.
Right.
Because all these white people keep taking all the black people roles in these voiceovers. So like I was watching these people step down and I was like, how many fucking white people were doing these black people's voices? This is ridiculous. You would think that like black voiceover actors don't even exist.
There's a clever caveat that's happening though. Each of the characters that we've been speaking out, particularly Jenny Slate's and Kristen Bell's characters, are biracial characters who are half black and half white.
Okay.
And have white people playing them as well. And I was wondering, for me, that's the part that's slippery and
that's even more.
Quasi,
it's like, okay,
it's
they're
like,
biracial, so yeah.
It's like, then are you designing biracial characters is it a casting ploy so that you can, no matter who gets it, somebody gets it, it's okay.
But it's also the idea of like, you are putting on the voice of a person of color. It's not just like, okay, your drawing is a black person. The guy who does Cleveland isn't like, I just happen to sound like a black guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody. Yeah, you're literally imitating another person, how they talk. So it's like, why can't we just get the people who I
personally have never met anyone who talks like Cleveland Brown, but I hear you.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I don't mean to put him on the spot. My Uncle William did sound like a lot like Cleveland. Shout out
but
to
you know
William.
what I mean? Like, you weren't watching Cleveland like, man, he sounds white. I was never like, dang, it's totally a white guy. Or even when I saw like Missy, like I was never like, oh, that's totally voiced by a white person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, what they're saying is give opportunities for, you know, representation and voice acting as well for these characters that you're creating, especially if the character has like a very specific race for whatever.
Right.
That's
for
core
whatever
to the character.
storytelling for the storytelling purposes. It gets anyway. It just all this gets even trickier.
It's a slippery slope, and all people really asked for was defunding the police. So this is weird too.
Listen, I don't think it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I think that they should step down because actors like me aren't even allowed in rooms. So they're saying, like, I've got jobs. I don't need to be on this show. And, like, first of all, voice acting is literally the hardest industry to get into because it's like the same 5 people get the same 5 jobs. So if there's people out there who are like, you know what? Maybe a black person should do this. You're going to be like, wow, it's going to be like the second black person to be able to do voice acting.
Well, what I need, this is why God won't give me a budget, because what I need now is for like Keith David to be Cleveland Brown.
No.
I want the problem to get worse. You understand what I'm saying? Yes.
Like, Kevin Hart does everything.
My name is Cleveland Brown.
Exactly. Okay. And the animated story of, I don't know, Frederick Douglass's life,
No.
I think we need Che from
Michael Che?
Michael Che to play Frederick Douglass.
I would actually, I will listen to that. I'll be there for that.
Chris Rock. See, that's nothing. Doesn't Chris Rock play a zebra?
That's what I'm saying. We can play animals, but we can't play people.
I mean, all those animals were from Africa.
Right.
But only one of them was, let me say, not two of them. Jada Pinkett was the hippo.
Oh, we talk about Jada today?
No, God, no. I'm leaving that whole family alone.
I don't even know why. Did
They've
something
been through
happen?
enough.
They've been through August and we just in July.
Ooh,
100%. All right. So we'll see what happens on all of those castings when whoever else is casted now.
I guess.
On that note, as we go into phase no one should really be going outside anyway, they will be opening up the studios for people to start filming. And a couple of films that are coming back to production in the fall are Miss Marvel and Black Adam.
Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel?
Ms. Marvel.
Oh.
The one
who's going to
the
Disney Plus?
stretchy girl.
Yeah, nice.
It says stretchy girl.
Yeah, she does cool stuff. Makes her hands big and punches people in the face.
She gets embiggened.
Yeah.
She does.
She
calls it that.
Yep, she does.
She even calls it that.
Wait, really?
Shout out to The Simpsons, awkwardly.
Yeah, again.
So, I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this opening anything. But I know it's like there's a lot of people out there who are like, man, there's no work. I can't do this. So it's like, man, it's going to start opening up again. There's crew members, all those people who get paid per production. You know what I mean? They're not like just getting a salary and being like, can't wait to get back out there.
First of all, there's only like a handful of states that meet the criteria put forth by the CDC and all that stuff to be open in anything.
Yeah.
And the criteria is dumb.
But even then.
But the criteria was decided upon by DK experts. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
For all the places
that
emphasis on all the places that didn't follow those guidelines are now seeing
I know.
record numbers of cases. So DK, sometimes DK is fucking Bible. You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
It's on baby on Bible sometimes. So
I just don't understand it.
I'm saying, where the fuck are they filming any of this shit?
I don't know
The
where
NBA
they're filming it.
The NBA trying to do a bubble in Florida, right?
In Florida?
Yo, Aisha, where?
Don't go to Florida. That's terrible.
Well, they trying to do a bubble in Florida, but now like half the Nets team caught fucking COVID.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Florida seen record number cases.
Exactly. Don't go there.
And they trying to do, the NFL's probably going to cancel all their preseason games and just go straight into DK, like regular season games. But it's like, this is unavoidable.
Like, stop the madness, people.
Yeah,
well,
I
here's
can
the thing.
feel it in the air. Where are you filming?
I don't know where they're filming, but I think they've opened it up in Atlanta. I think that's what I heard. That's what I read in the article I saw. So there's a lot of Tyler Perry things that are coming back open. Granted, he has so much space.
Heller forever.
That like you do it, but there are restrictions to the filming. You can only have a certain amount of people on a set at any given time. So, and
CGI characters everywhere.
Exactly. So the other thing I saw is like people, they have sanitation companies on set at all times. So this person showed a picture. They took a picture of the car. They're like, hey, I was on set. This is the sanitation company. Or like, if you guys need them. And they had it looked like a leaf blower. And they were literally blowing down Video Village. Like Video Village is where you have the playback. So like you can see what you're filming.
Oh, right.
So they're literally spraying it down with like whatever chemical.
They're
with
just
this,
sandblasting.
Yeah.
They're just sandblasting 4K monitors and shit.
Exactly. Like,
It's
I was like,
transmitted
whoa.
ocularly, so
in your face.
And remember we talked about how places in Europe were gonna open up for filming. Yeah, but
Like,
the
check.
US, we can't even fly to Europe now.
We can't. Exactly.
So
Womp womp.
that's out the door.
I don't know. It's weird too because I was reading this thing about Pose was like 3 weeks into filming and had to stop, and I guess they're getting ready to come back with whatever's opening up in Atlanta, and they were like, it's just really sad because it's not going to be the same show. If you can only have a certain amount of people, they were like, we have like 100 extras in those ballroom scenes. Like,
Right.
we can't do that.
You know what's bugging me out too is watching like not new shows, but like watching shows that I know were filmed and like they're out now, but watching it and seeing like mad people in the street and seeing people socialize outside, like not on Zoom, is freaking me out.
Me
because
too.
I'm like, that ain't real life. So like even things like I'm watching shit that's like reality, like it's a biography, it's
like
a documentary.
pre-COVID,
Yeah. But I'm looking at them like fiction. Like I'm trying to change the genre in this shit because
That's wild.
it
Like,
just
this ain't
doesn't.
real.
I'm like, that ain't real,
I suggested that Ryan Murphy holler at Jon Favreau and get in a volume so they could do these ballroom scenes.
in the volume.
The LED. Have you seen the joint, the behind the scenes of Mandalorian?
Yo,
No,
it's-
you castigated me last time.
The
To watch
castigation will continue.
I haven't watched it,
Yo.
but you over here wanted me to watch that. When are they gonna film anything that's even like Mandalorian? He gonna be in the desert a lot.
Well, that's what.
Season 2 already wrapped.
But that's the thing. He was
You know what I'm
never-
saying though? Like,
He was never in the desert.
why the fuck they don't do Mad?
He was never there. He was
You
in the
gotta watch the
volume.
joint, bro.
You're
gotta watch the
right.
behind the
But
scenes.
you get what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers better do Mad Max Part 2 now.
Now's the time.
That's the only type of movie you could do, like on location and shit.
True.
All dystopian all the time.
Well, in that same regard, other movies that are being planned, because whatever, again, there's nobody sick. Pirates of the Caribbean is having a not Pirates of the Caribbean at all spinoff.
It's weird.
It doesn't make any sense. So apparently Margot Robbie,
Yeah.
Margot is starring in and seems at like the helm of this Pirates movie that is going to have the writer of
Was that a
Birds of Prey.
pirate pun that she's at the helm?
Yes.
Ooh.
Was
Oh,
it?
Yes.
nope, it was
Yes,
inadvertent.
it was. No. That's exactly what it was.
Okay, all right.
And the writer of Birds of Prey, but it's not at all connected to the pirates that we know before, and Johnny Depp's not in it,
So
and it's not a reboot.
If it's not a reboot and it's not Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's happening in the universe of the Pirates of the Caribbean, is it perhaps Pirates of the Caribbean?
It's Pirates of the Dead Sea.
It's Pirates of the Pacific
No, I
Ocean.
said what I said.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
You got the Caribbean, and then you got the Caribbean.
It's true. They're gonna
And
be in the
that
Bahamas.
small little adjustment of mispronunciation.
They're gonna be in St. Kitts. They're gonna be like, what?
I guess this is the safest way they could not trample over the huge imprint Johnny Depp has had on that franchise.
I guess so. They're
What
gonna
are
be
you talking about? You mean Orlando Bloom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. Orlando
all right.
Bloom.
All right, Katy Perry's husband.
Huge
Whatever.
Are they
Imprint.
married?
Aren't they?
I heard they were still together, and I was like, what?
Aren't they?
I mean, they might be.
Y'all really out here?
Aisha, this is your wheel. If you don't know this,
I ignore Katy Perry things.
he's an elf in the franchise that you love.
He is my favorite elf in the
So
franchise
then you should
that I
know
love.
everything he's putting
I know
arrows in.
Whoa.
I know that Orlando Bloom is still single and waiting for me. That's what I know.
Put some respect on Thranduil's name.
No. Anyway, point is, they are not making a Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just some Pirates movie with Margot Robbie.
Is it Harley Quinn on a boat?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Why say it's a Pirates of the Caribbean movie? You're like, JK, but it's like not really it at all.
You keep saying JK, and I'm triggered because of JK Rowling and how
you're
much
right, you're
she's
right. I
been
should
in the
stop saying
news.
That's so true.
But anyway, transitioning from that conversation,
You don't like pirates?
Margot Robbie, I love her. I think she can carry a Pirates movie.
Sure, why not?
Question is who are they casting around her?
Yeah.
You know, like who else is going to be in the mix?
But also,
know?
like, the Birds of Prey writer, again, not shitting on ladies. This isn't sister hate. But that movie was not well written. No one was like, man, the writing was real good in Birds of Prey.
You know, I don't know if I had so much of an issue with the writing or like the pacing
I guess that's true. That's
in
more
that
direction.
movie. But it's nitpicky because we already reviewed it.
We did.
And we
You're
kind
right.
of had the same impressions on it. But
Well,
Margot Robbie, good for her. I'm hoping that, you know, I don't know if Johnny Depp's ex, was it Amber Heard? Is that her?
oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going to be going to jail or anything, but I'm hoping
Sorry.
that if Johnny is exonerated as it seems he should be, that, I don't know, maybe at the end of the Margot Robbie movie, you get a little post-credit Thanos, but it's Johnny Depp.
Oh.
You know?
I'm about that.
Because that's what people want.
It's true.
Those movies made money, so people
did.
still want to see him
All right.
as
so
that character.
It's true. Last on our news before we get going in the real reviews is that apparently Marvel has acquired the Alien, and Predator.
Promethean.
They got the rights, yeah.
Yeah, they took that whole franchise. So, I'm sorry, what?
Well, for clarity, they got the rights to make comic books out of those. And once they get routed through comics, and if those sell, then I mean,
Right.
the door is wide open.
But do we need more of these movies?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
my goodness.
and we need better ones, yeah.
We've had what? We've had Batman versus Alien. We've had Superman versus Alien versus
my God,
Predator.
I know.
Terminator, RoboCop. Now,
Stop it.
I mean,
What's left?
because it's been. If I'm getting really real, those two properties have been run through the mill. Once Warner Brothers acquired DC and then acquired NetherRealm, then we get the video games that have Aliens and Predator in them for Mortal Kombat. So
and
now that-
RoboCop and Terminator.
Right. So now that Marvel acquired that property, now they could do some interesting, fun things that are fun for people who like those properties.
Never ending.
Spider-Man
Really
versus
forever.
Alien. What? Venom?
I was about to say it's just gonna
Alien
keep going.
with the symbiote?
Black Panther
my
versus
God.
Predator, or they become
Black
friends.
on black crime.
No, put a Predator in Wakanda.
Yeah, this guy
That's
was watching
dope.
that other one.
Alien
was
versus
it?
Predator?
Yeah, he was watching that. And they kept turning. I wish we had video. They kept turning their heads, mad, like whipping their hair back and forth. And then the dreads were like flying from side to side.
That's
And you're like,
representation.
oh my goodness.
My
That
hair
ass.
is professional.
He
Isn't
was
that the line from the
Yes,
show
it is.
we're gonna
Oh,
review?
right. Friggin' Predator pointed at Sanaa Lathan and was like, "You a real one." Swished his hair and then got on the.
I will point and swish at Sanaa Lathan too.
Point
That's love. That's love of
Point.
basketball.
and
and
swish.
swish. It's
I will
true.
point and swish as well.
All right, before we move on, I do want to give our regular dose of donation plugs and shout outs. We don't have anybody to shout out this time around.
I have someone to shout out this time.
Ooh, Francis, I'm going to shout out.
Tell her.
But for posterity, I'm gonna shout out the homie on Twitter. Jess is a spicy manticore.
Is that the name?
I hope you're pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, darn tootin'. But this homie, super shout out, likes and follows Tuners and an Actor, and responded to my random plea around wanting to use PlayStation Network to talk to the young people I work with. And this person donated me a PS4.
Oh, that's Aisha. That's a shout out. What the hell?
I didn't know that it was that they listened to Two Nerds and an Actor. He said it was just for his job.
I mean, because they met all three of us at the tabletop event that we did in Columbus, Ohio, with Black Nerd Problems. And we're impressed with how we handle how we do what we do. So and they thought it was a great way to pay it forward, especially in like the way things are going right now. They're
Well,
like,
there you go.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Out. I mean, it just arrived today, too.
Nice.
Francis is in like complete awe. He said it like 8 times. And I was like, it's going to be okay.
That's a worthy shout out.
Yeah.
yeah, stellar, man, stellar.
Those are the types of things that you can do for all types of artists that are trying to get their things going. There's so many things that you can donate. There's items you can donate. You can donate your writing. Write a review. Write a comment. Tell your friends if you write for a publication. Please give us a review. If you like a specific episode or a group of episodes, write about it and tell us so that we can shout you out and we can share it. Because that's the way that we get more visible. That's how we get the algorithms going. And that's how we can get opportunities to do more. What we really want to do is like videos and more exciting things for you all. So please help us out, like, share all those things. And as we move into donating to artists and other things of the sort, make sure that you are still looking up at the national resources list. It is growing every day and changing every day for the types of things that you want to support. Black lives, trans lives, queer lives, all Black lives. And also there's a lot of petitions out there, so please sign them. I signed the petition to arrest Breonna Taylor's murderers because they are still walking free and they are straight up murderers. So if you want to do that, that's the easiest thing is putting your name in. But check out the national resources list. I think there's like a link tree. It's like linktr.ee/national resources list. So check that out. But you can also donate directly to Two Nerds and an Actor if you want to see us continue to make these. It is produced by us three. There is no one else. And our buddy Daryl, who is editing these, and we want to make sure that Daryl gets paid. And then, like, one day I would like to get paid for doing this, it would be like so cool because it's like a lot of work for all of us to do on our own. So if you want to donate and make that happen for us, you can go to our website, which now is still at spelling out the number 2, TwoNerdsAndAnActor.squarespacecom. So please look it up. And you can see us on Black Nerd Problems. So you can go to the site, check out our stuff there, and find us anywhere. But make sure you are commenting, liking, all those things. So we hope to see a review soon. Soon, people. You know, there hasn't been a lot of TV and movie stuff to really get into. So it's been interesting, I think, the stuff we've been able to watch and review. So we are about to do a no spoilers review of The King of Staten Island. And if you don't know what that is, that's probably because you're like, I don't watch Amazon Prime. I don't know. But, okay, Pete Davidson.
Judd Apatow.
I was waiting for France to correct me because I always call him Pete Wentz.
The Fallout Boy guy?
Yes, I literally always say Pete Wentz, even though I'm thinking Pete Davidson.
They don't look
No, they don't look anything alike. They're just both named Pete.
There's a lot of people named Pete. You know what?
It just keeps happening. Anyway, Pete Davidson. I actually watched his stand-up.
Yes, on Netflix.
On Netflix, which was interesting. Honestly, I mean, we'll get into it. But we're gonna do a no spoilers review of The King of Staten Island, and also I May Destroy You, which is the HBO series, which I thought was a movie. Series.
It's a series.
It is a series. There's only 4 episodes out right now at this time that we're recording. There's probably more going to be happening while you're listening, but we're going to review the first 4 episodes. So let's get into King of Staten Island.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not your dad.
The movie is about a young man named Scott, who has lived in... You may know this man from... He grew up and lives in Staten Island. His father was a firefighter who...
I mean, did he grow up, though?
Yeah, that's the question. His father was killed in a fire, because he was a fireman, in the story. In real life, Pete Davidson's dad was killed in 9/11, actually, and he was a firefighter. Yeah. So if you can't tell, the movie is probably...
It's loosely based
on his real life. I'm sure there's differences, like a play-by-play.
I mean, Pete Davidson's character in this movie is named after his dad.
His dad, yeah.
His real life dad.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's a dark comedy type dealio, directed by Judd Apatow, co-written by Pete Davidson, Judd Apatow, and some other person. And yeah, it takes place mostly in Staten Island.
I didn't expect this from Judd Apatow. Like, I forgot that he was involved. Honestly.
Why? Because Seth Rogen wasn't in it?
No, because I feel like his movies always have a certain feel that they're like so Judd Apatow, like that awkward comedy type of thing. This was still awkward and it was comedy, but it was so much more lengthy. Judd Apatow's things, I feel like always pop. It's like pop, pop, pop. Even if it's awkward, it's like pop, 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 pop. This was like...
This was 2.5 hours. Movie.
I'm watching this souffle cook. I don't know.
Bill Burr's in it. Marissa Tomei's in it.
Marissa Tomei.
Machine Gun Kelly is in it.
There's so many
for
people.
like 2 seconds.
The cameos were everything.
There were a lot of cameos.
Man, people from American Vandal are in this.
Oh my God.
Steve Buscemi is in it.
Steve Buscemi.
How dare I forget? Starstruck. It takes place in the forgotten borough of Staten Island.
I was like, man, I hate Staten Island. I'm sorry.
I mean, that was the theme of Wow, in the background I hear fire truck.
Yeah, there's a fire truck now.
Good timing, Daryl. Good timing.
I know. Should we pause for fire truck?
No.
Oh, okay.
But thank you to the first responders, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
they're
Yeah,
safe.
that's true. Thanks.
This movie is it's a comedy. It's a dark comedy. It's a coming of age type dealy. Think a Zach Braff movie, but less emo.
Yeah.
And more drugs. This is non-Spoilae.
Right.
Pete Davidson, I mean, I'm not going to say he's such a divisive person that you either like him or love him, because he's not that.
Right.
I think his brand of comedy can actually bring about a healthy dose of indifference, which is terrible. But
It's true. Indifference. That's a good,
right.
good word for
His
it.
spectrum is not like and love. It's like, that guy from Saturday Night Live.
There's Pete Davidson.
Right. It's so it goes from there to like, and in this movie you get a lot of him.
A lot of him.
And I don't know if that his brand of humor, which is it's perfect. He's the guy who can babysit your kids and they'll be safe.
Right. But like you're not sure at
what
first.
cost? Right.
Yeah.
At what cost to their innocence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they will be safe.
They're gonna be okay.
They'll probably even be better people afterward. But at what cost?
But you're like, what am I subjecting them to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How much of the world are they learning about right now?
Right.
Pete Davidson is a strange being. His spectrum of comedy, like his spectrum of comedy is it's not a spot that most people go to,
Right.
much less inhabit.
Yeah.
Right. That's really, yes.
And your man got real estate.
What
He's
do you
like,
mean?
he's like, I'm here. This is where I'm at.
He's
Coming
the
tonight.
king. He's
got
the
you.
king of it.
Right.
He's the king of Staten Island of that.
Right.
He is the embodiment of Staten.
He is.
So I had this question, and I think they laughed at me because I put this question in our notes. Is the movie? What did I say? Oh wait. Let me get the right note.
You got to get it.
I know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay. Is the movie Oscar worthy, or is it just what's out? The reason I asked this, the reason I asked this is because a list of movies came out that were like Oscar consideration, and this was one of them. And I'm like, what? Is that just because it's 2020 and all the movies got pushed to 2021 and this one came out? Or do you think it's actually Oscar nominated worthy?
Where are the other coming of age stories that take place in Staten Island?
So you're saying it's just because it came out. Got it.
No. I mean, I did say like a Zach Braff movie. What am I thinking of? What was that movie when
Garden
he was in
State.
Jersey?
Garden
State.
Yeah, I like
there you
that
go.
movie.
I like that movie too.
I don't know. This shit looks like it was trying to give me Garden State, but it came across as Silver Linings Playbook, but with none of the A-list acting. But none of the A-list acting is what I like about it. So it's interesting.
I enjoyed the parts of the movie that felt like Pete Davidson was sharing what it felt like to learn about his dad. Because you mentioned, Aisha, earlier about how you saw his stand-up special on Netflix. I did too. And he shares even mid-credits a story about like how he would just go around and try to, when he was older, try to learn about his dad, because it wasn't easy for people to talk about, someone who had passed so tragically.
Right.
And I enjoyed the parts of the movie that felt like it was as close to a 1-to-1, and maybe because I put myself in that situation, and I did watch the damn movie on Father's Day, so
Layers.
so it probably hit me different because of that.
Word.
Yeah. But Oscar worthy?
Is it Oscar worthy?
I give it a little bit of a yes, because it does something different. It was not the same movie, although right now it's really weird to watch anything that white and feel empathy. But
That's true.
I was like,
That's funny.
I was like, because I'm like, this is, if I watched this 6 months ago, I'd have been like, oh.
Look at Pete Davidson.
I may have been more invested. I was like, I see what it's doing, and I can see why it could get out. Because there's a lot of what I feel like is ad-libbing happening in that movie, and I'm like, that shit is cool.
But that's a Judd Apatow staple,
that
though.
Totally is.
But then who you choose to do that? You can fucking Bill Burr to do that. I'm like, that's amazing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There was one point, I'll remember it for the Spoilae, where France was laughing so hard, no sound was coming out. And I was like, is he breathing?
I remember what line that is. I'll say it in the Spoilae.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was ad-libbed. There's no way it was like scripted.
I'll say this. I mean, the cast, like as an ensemble, was really good. And Judd Apatow's really great with that. Like, he's able to get a chemistry flowing from the beginning to the end of his movies. Facts. Which is it's not easy to do in comedies. You can easily cast people that distract from, the center, the heart of the comedy coming from the film. But Judd Apatow doesn't really have that problem, I don't think.
Yeah.
And this movie follows that suit. I'll say this. I think, had I not seen the stand-up special, I would have appreciated the movie less.
Yeah.
Because having that foreknowledge that this movie was sort of, semi-biographical.
Yeah.
Made it hit different. So had I not known that, if you're just going into this movie and just watching it for face value, I would say I would have enjoyed it less, and therefore Oscar worthy would be the funniest thing about the movie.
Right.
That it isn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think that once you watch the stand-up, you get to know him as him. So when you watch this movie, it's interesting to see, like, he's still being him, but you have a little bit more backstory to go off of. And so, France, you get on and watch. You better watch that. All right. So we're going to do our no spoilers review of the first 4 episodes of I May Destroy You, starring Michelle Cole on HBO.
We're watching our favorite German TV show.
Science.
Animation at the same time.
Oh, how'd you get that?
Can't remember.
I wanted to give a synopsis about the show, but I think you should just go watch the trailer because it's hard to describe. I will say very loosely, no spoiler. A woman who likes to party, is a writer, goes out for a night, and then cannot remember how the night went. Many, many trigger warnings. A lot of trauma things. Many.
Imagine it's a gun with no thing around the trigger. It's just braka, 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 braka.
Yeah, there's no silence around that. Although I don't like gun metaphors.
Look at you.
But what I would say, since it's very hard not to spoil it, my question is, how should people prepare before they go see this?
You preparation for watching this should be, well, if you're someone who consumes a lot of media, then I would consume something very cute beforehand. Give yourself some space. Watch some Doc McStuffins, maybe some Avatar: The Last Airbender. Get something in there that fills you with enough to walk into this and then walk out of it. And after the fact, maybe take a shot.
I feel like no. I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say I think you should take a shot before.
Damn.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's inappropriate for what's gonna happen. You're like, and now I'm feeling it all.
It's funny. The show made me not want to drink.
Yeah.
I mean, how to prepare for this? Y'all told me, hey, let's review this, but be warned, trigger warned. Like, you guys said that, but I had no idea what the fuck this show was.
Yeah.
So, watching it 4 episodes deep, I can honestly say I still don't really know what this show is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's going to draw comparisons to another HBO show just off the nature of the diversity of the cast.
Right.
The activities being partaken in. The subject matter. Because of all those reasons, it's going to be compared to Euphoria.
Yeah.
We all fucking loved Euphoria.
We did.
This show does not provide, so warning, this show does not provide as much, how do I say it?
Euphoria?
This show does not provide you with enough cushion, I guess, to deal with what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get thrown in.
The show is rawer than you probably are. It's raw as fuck. It's raw, I guess, even than Euphoria. But these are some adult stories that are being told and very graphically and with no breaks.
Right. I think it's also the accuracy of it. It's like a trip through many different experiences, but it's so accurate and so detailed that you're feeling like every moment. So there are no breaks, because you're like, this is just how it goes. This is how these things happen.
And you can spell breaks either way,
Facts.
and both things are true.
100%. I guess, I think I would say don't do drugs for sure, but maybe like take some CBD, like be real mellowed and have done your own personal work with trauma before entering. If you haven't like addressed your own traumas before going in, it's probably going to be the most triggering, and you probably won't be able to finish it. I will say that.
I mean, it's in the, before the show starts, it has the letter ratings. It tells you, sexual assault is a theme in this show so far. So specifically, that and, alcohol and drug abuse.
Right.
Those 3 things, I'm like, if you have issues with those 3 things, that's the trigger warning. Yeah. So how do you prepare? Yeah. Do you want to watch a show where those things are at the center of it? And as we'll get more in depth in our non-spoiler, that they're very much in your face with like, you can't avoid them.
You can't.
You can't avoid them. And
I will say it's really good. It's not like, oh God, this is like some painful thing that I'm just getting through. It's written very well. The experiences that you are having is like, you're in it, you're there. It's not like it sucks and I can't believe I'm being subjected to this. It's just it's really well done. It's
brilliant, and you will not to date see a better use of levity ever. Cole's ability to take the awkward comedy of chewing gum. This is like the transverse of chewing gum, which were sexual situations where the levity and awkward comedy were heightened, and it's kind of flipped.
Yeah.
And now it's, imagine an awkward situation where the sexuality of the situation is heightened. Yeah. And it's a bit of genius, to be honest with you. Yeah. Despite being very triggering.
Yeah.
The music is great. The song choices. On that though, I would say yes. Like the way comedy is used in the show, like, cause that's another thing, it's labeled as it's a comedy. It's like a dark comedy, I guess.
Real dark.
It's excruciating is not the right word.
It might be though.
Like the humor, the part of the tragedy of the show is how the characters have to use comedy just to fucking function.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see that in such a raw way that it might not be for everybody, but it is done in a way that you have to take the material seriously.
Yeah.
And you have something there that's powerful when you can have a person sit down for half an hour to watch what's happening and take that away from it. You know, like, wow, I'm watching these characters have to be stronger than anyone should have to be to deal with what just happened. You know, it's crazy. But
well, we'll get more into it as we get into the Spoilae. But let's take a break. Yeah, let's take a break. I think you guys should go and drink a cool cup of water because it's hot out there.
stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Stay lubricated.
Whoa, yeah. Stay safe. All right, and we're back. I hope that you got water and that maybe you took a shot if that's your thing. That's it. Nothing else. No. Before we get into our Spoilae review, I'm going to do, which I can't call it Forky Asked the Question. So.
Stop saying it.
It's something else more Bronx that we'll figure out. Okay, so my question this episode is, because I've been thinking about this a lot, would you return to the movie theater even though there's no vaccine? And do you think, and how do you think it would work? And what measures would you take?
My short answer is no. I've been giving it a lot of thought. AMC recently was ready to open in July, but now they pushed it back to August. I think right now being in enclosed spaces with people for extended periods of time, you're just asking to expose yourself to possibly contracting the virus. And we already talked about how, you know, AMC, I don't know the policy of other movie theater chains, but they were like, oh, no mask. But then they're like, okay, masks. Even if you do that, you know, let's say theater could hold 100 people. Safe social distancing would mean you would have to fill at maximum a third or a fourth of those seats. If you're really talking about social distancing, can't do half. It's just, you can't. Because then you're talking about how many, like, what if you have a family of 4 or 5 going to see a movie? How does that work? Do you sit in a group of 5 and then other people sit
like further away from
your group of 5? And then when you talk about a group of 5, that's a group of 5 going down the aisle, forward and back.
Right.
So what are we talking about here? As much as I love going to the movies, I don't think it's the safest thing right now. Just like I don't think, you know, just like I'm pretty sure we know Comic-Con is not going to happen.
I know.
In
they
October.
have not said anything.
Yeah, because that's too many people from too many states and from too many countries. That's just not going to happen.
It's impossible.
So the movie theater thing, I'm not going to go. How do you safely do it? I don't know that you can, because you're talking about really odd seating arrangements. And then if that's another thing. Okay, you can wear your mask, but if you're selling food, how the fuck are you supposed to consume that? You got to take your mask off.
Yeah.
Right? So how does that work? You know, like, and then you're gonna be in there for 2 fucking hours? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wish. You know what I mean? I would want to know, yeah, all those things. Like, how does it work? How are they selling tickets? How would it be that, like, I can be as far away as possible from any other person? I feel like if I did it, I would only go to the, like, midnight showing of anything. Like, not on the day it comes out. Like, you know, like, a movie's been out. And I'm like, there's a midnight showing, because I know it's, like, just gonna be me. And, like, I can't guarantee anything, and I don't think I'm actually gonna do it, but if I did, I think that's what I would do. Like, when we would go to Alamo, we would go to these movies as, like, late, and we'd literally be, like, the only person there. And I like that. I'm like, yeah, person in the movie theater. My biggest concern is, like, you know, with Alamo, they serve food, they serve drinks. I don't even understand how outdoor dining is working. I don't even understand that. So that's what, and like surfaces, you know, like Alamo was never like squeaky clean. You know what I mean? It was like sticky. How are we constantly cleaning this surface and these chairs and silverware?
Yeah, I miss the movies very much. Now I'm good. And I'm good on that. Like, that's dumb. It was a pandemic. Coming to an enclosed space, eat some food, drink some drinks. The fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a major disappointment for me, because I also enjoy going to the movies, but I don't feel comfortable just the way things are going right now.
Yo, if I keep it,
at least for the rest of 2020, I don't feel comfortable going to the film.
I'm keeping it a full stack. The experience of the movies is so important to me. It's so important to the three of us in particular. Mm-hmm. And I'm like really though, capitalism is gonna blow us up like that. I'm like, I really just couldn't hold off on rent.
Wait a second.
Like, yeah, hold off on rents for theaters. Just wait. Just wait.
So, like, people aren't dying.
It's like, it's such an integral part of human civilization. Like, movie theaters are the result of like
a lack of
stage theaters. No, I'm saying, like, it's a part of human civilization. Like, it's a part of our thing. Like, y'all really couldn't get that, hit the humanitarianism off of that. Anyway.
I mean, not for the sake of theater. There's a lot of things they could have got it off for the sake of, but I feel you. I mean, other countries, they put money early on aside and into the pockets of citizens so that they didn't feel the pressure to have to go back to work, so they could feel an incentive to stay home and be safe.
Right.
Flatten the curve.
And they were able to stomp the curve out and reopen. And we did not follow any of the examples of the other countries who were able to get over this. And right now we're seeing the worst numbers that the entire world has seen. So, you know, is it? I think it might be too late to simply quarantine again. You know, like, I think it might be too late for that. But I definitely don't think it's time to just fully open up.
Yeah,
and curve stomp.
And going to the movies right now is, I don't see that as a thing. I mean, people are gonna go.
People, that's the thing.
People are gonna fucking
going.
go.
Oh yeah, people are
but
gonna
I
do some
don't
dumb
think
shit.
it's the smart move.
In Florida and Arizona, they're doing it up.
Somebody leaked a 720 camera grab of Tenet because they went to the movie in a hazmat suit.
I can't with these. This is just like we went to Yonkers to pick up food, like takeout, like everybody else, and not sit, and it was packed, and I mean packed.
Yeah, Cross County is wild.
Applebee's. Why? Like, you really need to get out to go to the Applebee's, people?
I mean, people are feeling like they got to get the fuck out of the house, but again, had we, put some of that 1.5 trillion that went into the pockets, who the fuck knows early on.
I know.
We could put some of that into the pockets of citizens and shit like that.
Well, everybody's fucking up because these like our whole country is full of a bunch of spoiled fuck faces. I'm like, really? Y'all really couldn't just stay home for a little while?
For a little bit.
People live in a tin shack in the countries you go to be a tourist in, and you couldn't stay home with your internet for a little bit?
I'm getting pissed off at all these stories on the news of like, you know, oh, this group of friends had a party and now they all have COVID. I'm like, you fucking idiots! Like,
why did you?
I don't want to see you crying on TV.
No,
you fucking moron.
Definitely not.
That ass don't.
Not what I
No,
want to see.
I mean, birthdays are important, you know?
Sure.
But, I mean, you want to make it to the next one?
At what
I would
cost?
like more than one birthday, please.
What the fuck?
I think that's the theme. At what cost?
At what cost?
Yeah. And then let's not get started on the fact that motherfuckers are protesting for haircuts, but they don't protest for Black lives. So let's not even go there.
No.
Let's not even go there.
I can't. All those memes of those two people with the guns that came out for them. They're hilarious. Anyway. All right. On to some more lighthearted news. This has not been a very lighthearted episode. It's tough because the two things we're reviewing, they're not happy-go-lucky. They're not.
No, I mean, King of Staten Island has but the rest.
I mean, if Pixar did it.
Oh my god.
Nah, Pixar is the
Pixar King of Staten Island. The fire truck talks.
You just sit there crying in Pixar movies, though. Don't lie.
Stop it.
Who wasn't crying in like?
All right, so Pete Wentz is Staten Island.
Pete Wentz, no.
The fallout of Boy.
So King of Staten Island. There was a lot of things that happened in this film that I kind of felt were too long. Anyway, so I guess my question is,
like what a Fall Out Boy song?
Are those long?
No.
I think I would like a Fall Out Boy song more.
Well, is this movie a scene or an arms race?
I don't know.
I can do that all day. I love
this
Fall
guy.
Out Boy.
This guy is on it.
Anyway,
the question is, did you enjoy, or what did you think about the directing and the writing? Because I felt like those were two things that obviously drove the whole film, and it kind of like something stood out for me because of those two things.
Direction was fascinating. It was different for Judd Apatow, I thought, at least in its delivery, because he's usually working with like, you know, your Paul Rudds, your Seth Rogen's. I was like, and that gets a different kind of performance, but like Ricky Velez in this shit stood out like a motherfucker because this is his lane.
And Ricky Velez was the friend.
Yeah, the Ricky, who, you know, of nightly show fame, but he's been a stand-up comedian for mad long. It's like, and that whole style. So to have Ricky Velez and Bill Burr, and then Pete Davidson,
everybody from American Vandal,
and I'm gonna even include Maude Apatow.
Yeah.
It's like, but for some reason, that whole style of being able to shoot off the cuff, because you don't direct that, you just allow space for them to play. And there were moments where people were playing, and it was like, yo, those are some of my favorite moments. The part that I was just talking about when Bill Burr's going off talking about Pete Davidson's character's dad, Stan, and he's just like, that dude did so much coke that there's a nickel with his head on it in Bolivia.
Yeah, he died.
That shit slayed me.
That was great.
But the delivery was very Bill Burr, but it was very Bill Burr ad-libbing during stand-up.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That shit came out of the cut like bong, and I was like, and that kind of thing it's special to have a group that can make that synergy work and then make it funny in a dark thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I think it caught me off guard. I think the directing and the writing caught me off guard because of its looseness. I'm very, like, Judd Apatow lets people riff, obviously, like, and that's the funny part about it. But you always kind of like see it coming. In Judd Apatow's moments, like, oh, they're having a dinner. This is totally going to be funny. Like, oh, this is really going to be funny. They're doing yoga. This is going to be hilarious. In this one, it was just like, oh, we're riffing now. What? Are we just sitting in a basement? What's happening? So that it was just like, it would go like that. It was almost like you were just watching life happen. And I think I wanted to know if Pete Davidson like did the writing as well. I didn't get to see in the credits. I don't know, but like was it his script with Judd Apatow's awkwardness? Because I think the mix together caught me off guard. I was like, this is so strange and so weird. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's like very Staten Island. But I was like, what? I can't tell if it's mixing together or if it is like, you know, water and vinegar or whatever is that thing they say. Oil and water. Oil and water.
Oil and water.
There we go. Water and vinegar. I think it's like a salad dressing.
I don't know if water and vinegar, unless you want to clean the inside of your microwave.
Sure.
The writing and directing, I thought the writing and directing were, you know, on par with any of the other Judd Apatow movies. I mean, it didn't have the same guffaw, big time, you know, over the top laughs as some other Apatow projects. Like that's not what this movie was hitting for.
It wasn't.
But you know, like a lot of Apatow projects, he finds these surprising ways to ground it in like family and friendship and heart. Around, you know, the R-rated humor is around it, you know, and this very much has that. You know, by the time Pete Davidson's character gets to the firehouse, and you know that experience there, where they take him in and their camaraderie, their jokes, the way that they riff on one another, and then that scene where he rides along and sees them actually out on the job putting out a fire.
Yeah.
There's very little humor in that moment, but that moment makes the stories they tell later and the jokes about doing coke and stuff like that that France mentioned hit that much harder, because now they have some humanity to them. Now they have, you know, you understand why, you know, they work so fucking hard, why they play so fucking hard too. And that is where I think the character finds an in with them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said there. So I think that the writing was great. I'm always surprised, not surprised, but Judd Apatow is one of the actors that can get the most out of his child actors.
I know.
You know, to me, the kids weren't in the movie enough.
They weren't. I fell in love with them.
I wanted more scenes. I wanted him to go back to the kindergarten class or the.
I did too.
I thought that was great. But we didn't get enough of them. But when they were there, they were great. The two kids of Bill Burr.
I feel like that's an editing thing, and maybe my put offness is to the editing, because I feel like there's might be a lot of story that happened that's on the cutting room floor, and like something should have been swapped out.
I can tell you right now what they should have cut out the fucking movie. And no offense to anything, but I don't think we needed any of the younger sister shit.
What?
I don't think we needed the sister graduating high school, and I think you could have still told the story and take all the moments with her out of it, and it still would have came across. Because once she was gone, there's the moment where he goes to the college party. Yeah. But let's be real, he could have still found his way to a college party if you needed him to do that.
It's true.
Like him and his crew. It might have been even better if it would have been him and his boys who found their way to a college party as just a thing that they do, because then what happens to them at the pharmacy would have hit more, because we have more time with them.
Yeah,
you know?
I felt like that was a scene too that I could have cut out. Like, I get why, you know, I think there's a lot of scenes that I could have cut out, and I get why they were there. But I think the fact that I get why they were there and I wasn't just lost within a story is the problem. I think it's that, like, it doesn't mean it's a bad movie at all. I think, you know, we liked it. I was in there, but like the fact that I understood everything was to serve the rite of passage or coming of age or awakening of Pete Davidson's character. We didn't get to see the other characters in their elements, so they felt like they were not as like important. So like you could cut out that. You could even like technically cut out the mom. You know what I mean? It's like all these people were just in and out of his existence.
His sphere.
Yeah, until he gets to the fire station. I think once you get to the fire station, that's when you're like, oh, I feel some sort of grounding that's happening here, and now I can see all these other characters. And I mean, maybe that's what they wanted, but I found it a little
it's
distracting.
him not calling the shots anymore.
Yeah.
And being part of the real world, unsheltered.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought that the movie could have gone in reverse and had a stronger effect. That if he's in the firehouse getting pranked and with these dudes, but then you realize that his actual life is completely unraveled outside of this. But it may not
so
have
you
been
wanted this to be a film, not a movie?
I was going to say, very indie.
It may not have been as feel good.
How's Zach Braff of you?
Ho. You mean how Zac Efron?
What?
What?
Just naming Zacs?
Yo, watch it, babe.
Zac the Black Ranger.
We're just
No,
doing
stop. What the fuck?
all the Zacs. His
What the
name is
fuck right
Pete
now?
Wentz, guys.
Zach
God. All right,
Wentz.
let me get us back. This. Bill Burr was great. His ex-wife was hilarious.
Oh my God, I loved her.
Oh my God.
Who is the actress? Because I saw her and I was like, I feel like I know her. And then
I
Francis
know
was
her
like,
from Fahrenheit 9/11 with Nike commercial guy.
what?
Dennis Leary. Wasn't
Really?
that Rescue Me? Rescue Me. That's the show.
Oh,
Rescue
she's on
Me.
that.
She was on that.
She
That's that
looks
show
so
that
familiar.
She was an on again, off again love interest of.
Pamela Adlin.
Yeah.
Is she
She
a
was on
comedian?
Louis too.
Yeah.
She's a comedian?
Yeah.
Like just like a comedy actor?
She was on Louis as well.
I was like, oh, she looks so familiar. And Francis was like, she looks like Janine Garofalo. And I was like, well, that too.
No.
But I mean, like, she looks like I've seen her in something else.
You have, and there you go. Yeah, great casting up and down.
casting is great.
This whole thing with the tattoos, the tattoo.
Yo, the tattoos. When he was getting ready to tattoo that kid, I was like, is this really happening? And then the friend who was like, I regret my friendship with you. And I was like, 100%.
Yeah.
He tattooed a freaking child, like tattooing kids in the woods. I was
To
like,
be fair, he thought he was 14.
nah, stop it.
He
That
said
kid
it.
was like 7 years old.
Said it.
It was mad pedo in the beginning. He's like, hey, kid, yeah, come over here. I was like, what? Is this what they do in Staten Island?
It was a kid that just stumbled into an empty field, you know?
He
It's
was
like,
looking for his
and
friends.
they were high. So let's also.
Why are you high giving tattoos?
Is there another way to do it?
I'm sorry. Should you be
can't.
drunk instead?
Don't do any of this. I can't.
This episode is Aisha being a fucking narc.
Guys, don't do it. Okay, here's my favorite part of this is my favorite part of the movie. When the mom is showing the tattoo and he says it's something, what did he say? Well, I forget what he said it was. And I was like, it's a rabbit. And then she's like, it's my daughter.
Oh yeah, Bill Burr said, I thought it was a Cocker Spaniel.
Oh yeah, he called it a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
I legit thought it was a rabbit, like with long ears.
The fucking tattoos on Bill Burr's back. He did everything he told him not to do.
I died. I was like, never
was
look
great.
at your back.
That was great. Yeah. It's a feel good movie at the end of it.
Yeah.
Little tragic, sad, but I enjoyed it. I really did. But again, my bias, as I mentioned in the non-spoiler, was probably because I had that heavy backstory that he gives in his
Right.
stand-up.
Yeah.
Had I not had that, then I don't really know how much I would have enjoyed the film on its own.
Right.
But because I had that, I really did enjoy the film.
France, did you want to say more? He's like,
A deep, it was like, I'll tell you what, there's an aspect of the kinds of actors who were in things. I am sick to death of the A-list all-star cast, and everyone gets half a page of dialogue, as opposed to this group, like the group that we saw in King of Staten Island. There was a whole bunch of different actors from different walks, and they make something work.
Yeah.
It was cool. You could see Steve Buscemi and Marissa Tomei, who got chops and like crazy acting credits, and then the kids from American Vandal.
Oh, man.
And
I love those
playing
guys.
their lane, doing their thing, and making the story come together because it takes all kinds. And I thought that was particularly interesting.
Way back, boys.
The fights for the tips.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, this is a bunch of Pete Davidson's like SNL skits that they were like, dude, we're not doing those.
We're not doing that.
We're not going to do that. And he's like, well,
No.
I have a movie now. Watch me do that when
Watch
you let
me do it.
Gonna do it.
Watch it slap.
What? He's like, what if instead of you just getting tips, you had to fight for tips? And they were like,
Yeah.
what?
Take that, Lorne Michaels, bitch.
Doing it right now.
Boom.
But yeah, okay.
So,
How many amateur tattoos do you give it?
Wow. Amateur tattoos?
Yeah, they were not profesh.
You know, with a 1.5 point margin of error, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Wow.
Again, I've admitted my bias already. I have.
True.
I saw this shit on Father's Day with my mother.
It's an
2 days after watching his stand-up.
It's an emotional connection.
So, you know, it also led to an extremely great conversation afterward about my actual dad. So, it's crazy.
That is dope.
8. I give it 8 terrible tattoos.
I'm gonna give it 6 and 1 line drawn on an underage kid. Yeah,
Okay.
6 and a line.
France.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 7.
7
Okay.
Bolivian nickels.
Nah, I'm gonna give it 7.
That would be a good ass time. No.
Wait, make up your fucking mind. Are you with the bumps or not? I'm so sorry, France.
No.
There's 8 ball over here.
I'm not the good ass time. Someone else is having the good ass time.
7.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 7. I'm gonna give it 7. Was a misproportioned eyeball tattoos. But he messed up Obama.
Obama.
Yo, Obama.
I'm like, why you make Obama look like
You look like a weird Doberman.
he looked like something from the movie Splice? He looked like something that went awry.
He gave Bill Burr a ghost with a boner.
He made Obama look like the SpongeBob meme. You know, the one with the letters, capital and small. The mocking voice.
Oh my God.
He did.
That's what he made it look like. King of Staten Island captures the spirit of Staten Island.
Yeah, I will say I wish it wasn't $20 to rent. Come on now.
It could have been 30 at the theater. So make up your fucking mind.
I got passes.
You know what I'm saying?
Anyway. All right. Catch it if you want to, I guess. So the next show, again, Spoilae, if you haven't seen the first 4 episodes of I May Destroy You, we are going to get into it because there's no way.
We're going to spoil them.
We're definitely going to spoil them because a lot has happened.
So much.
So much has happened. So the biggest thing, I think, as we have said in our non-spoilers, is that there is a through line of trauma. That is definitely what the show is based around, and experiences and living with trauma, having the trauma, going on with your life with the trauma, all that kind of thing. So my question is, well, first, before we get into my question, because I think it's more of a wrapping up situation. What did you think? What are your initial thoughts of the show? Yeah.
I'll go first because I'm pretty sure I have the unpopular opinion amongst the 3 of us. So this show, like, I didn't really know what it was, but 4 episodes in, I still don't necessarily know what it's going for. It's telling really raw, gritty stories, of what's happening to these characters. But like I said in the non-spoiler, whereas Euphoria has extremely well done character development, and the surrealistic style of how some of the things are shot gives you those opportunities to kind of like unclench your ass cheeks and your hands on the couch, like to kind of just let the story unfold. This show does not give you a chance to do that. And it doesn't have the character development. So what happened for me, my experience in watching these first 4 episodes was it felt like it was trauma after trauma after trauma with me not knowing enough about the characters to have some place I could root for them to be or go or achieve based on my understanding of them, other than I just want the trauma to be over. The only story through line for me that seems to, besides the main character trying to figure out what happened to that evening, the only one for me that seems to be unfurling like in an interesting way is with her friend Simon and his, I think she's a teacher wife that he's been with for 8 years because she's grading papers. And her uncovering the fact that he has been cheating on her, even though she's trying to introduce, the possibility of them having a threesome with someone to spice things up. So that unfolding, that storyline is interesting, but still, I don't know enough about some of these characters for me to be able to like deal with what the fuck is happening in every episode. So,
I think that there is a reason for that. I honestly think that they did all this on purpose. So what I would recommend for anyone who is in these 4 episodes, stop and go watch just like 3 episodes of Chewing Gum. Because Chewing Gum, like France was saying, is like literally the antithesis of this show. So it's very, very funny, very sad. It is excruciatingly uncomfortable in every moment. There isn't a moment in Chewing Gum where you're like, I feel better now. It's like so uncomfortable and so awkward where you feel like you need to leave the room. So I think, it's written by the same person. So the main character, Michelle Cole, wrote this and created this and also wrote and created Chewing Gum. So it's that same feel. And I think if you come into these episodes having experienced that, you know what the deal is when you get to this. You're like, okay, I'm having that same feeling. It's just not funny. It's not funny at all. But I think the reason, and again, I don't know. I don't have like an insight into the writer's room or anything like that. But I think the reason that they made it like that is for you to experience the same exact thing that's happening to the person you're watching. So it's not just like, oh, I'm watching this show, these things are happening. It's like, I'm on this journey with you. The trauma doesn't stop. I don't like feel better later. It's like this thing happened to me and it's going to always continuously be making me uncomfortable. And there isn't a moment where I get to breathe. And I think that's something that's never been shown really on TV before. It's like this raw feeling that like when these things happen to you, the PTSD is real. Everything you do after that moment is real. And you don't even know yourself anymore. And there's no way, if we knew the characters, right? If there was like a backstory, if we were like, oh my gosh, I get this person, then you're now feeling for that person. You're like, oh, I'm so sad that happened to them. That is so terrible this is happening to them. Whereas this, you're like, my God, I feel like it's happening to me. And you can't separate yourself from what's going on. And I think that happens a lot in like real life. People easily separate themselves from things that happen to people. And you can be like, that's never happened to me. Oh, well. And I don't feel like you can do that when you watch this show.
I can recall really clearly. This wasn't that long ago, but it was wild. Like the reason that the last, like another season of Chewing Gum didn't happen was because Michelle Cole experienced actually being drugged and sexually assaulted.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
That this was her way of kind of writing out what that experience was like, because she's trying to write a show that is now getting like steam, and then this happens to her, and then she has to kind of write through it. She's still being asked to meet deadlines and all these things. And how do you how do you live your life with this trauma?
Damn.
And be productive, no less.
Right.
At a high level.
And recognizing the street.
Facts.
Right.
Is that all that stuff?
Recognizing the street.
And that interplay of the private and the public, I think, is what is like most striking about the show. It does a really good job of displaying that each of us through technology are private and public and are dealing with all of the same stuff, private and public. And the time where they meet is either hilarious or fucking terrifying. And,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that about her either. The private and public aspect is interesting because most of the time we see her in public, she's even before she's assaulted though. Yeah. The way we're introduced to her, and then even in the flashback when she first meets the drug dealer, right? She's already living a life where she's, constantly drugged or drunk or just, she's constantly doing that. So it's interesting that in her public life, she's like, how is she dealing with real life? Right. And then in her private life, like, who is she even being honest with there? Right. Because we see her avoiding text conversations where people are asking if she's okay. Right. Or that they notice that something's off. Mm-hmm. We have that moment where her guy friend who's gay and he gets assaulted. He wants to reach out to her, but he doesn't. And that could be for many reasons why he chooses not to. Mm-hmm. One, because he's probably aware of what she's already going through. And two, he probably doesn't just feel comfortable. He doesn't know how to reach out to somebody else. So there's just a ton of shit going on, and it's a barrage. Like, I hear you, Aisha. You described basically like a trauma VR because it's like, you can't escape it. Yeah. But then that mixed with what France is saying, if she's writing her way through and showing something that really happened to her, that at least gives me an idea of what the show is about.
Well, that's why you brought up the friends, and I kind of wanted to go into what do you think about the storylines of the friends? Because like we mentioned, there's so much trauma. It's like everyone is having this trauma. Everyone. What do you think about the friends also being put into it alongside this? She has this event happen to her. She's drugged and sexually assaulted. They're going through these other things.
One of my favorite themes and hashtags that Mike has curated is love in the modern age.
Oh God,
modern world.
Love in the modern world. My bad. Look for the hashtag. But that's what we're looking at through the friends. It's these plays on power that just keep showing up in different levels. It's like, how are we engaging in power? What is power? What is the power here? How does technology factor into that power? It's just layered and nuanced as fuck. It's the most clear version of this that I've ever seen. It's the tiny moments. It's not that homegirl is just her friend T is engaging in sexual agency and having a threesome with two Italian dudes, but the fact that she felt there was power in the spontaneity of it, only to find out that it wasn't spontaneous, and that moment of power taken. And it's just a moment. It's a thing that she may have never have noticed had she not looked out the window.
Right, right.
But those moments of power taken, having like that interplay of how.
And that happens again, right? So with the friend, the queer friend who is like, oh, I have this power. I'm going to help this other man who's trying to come into his queerness. I'm going to show him how this goes, right? And it's like he has the power in this situation and he's loving it and things. And then you watch that flip so quickly too. And like, now that you're saying that, I see that idea of like power and power and sexuality. how those are like the biggest and dangerous things together sometimes.
Also, I mean, this idea of like vulnerability and trust, because like when like bad things happen each time a character is left alone, like their friends leave them, or someone they trust leaves them to be hurt. That's happened mad times in just 4 episodes.
Right.
That's a huge fucking like underlying theme there. It's like, who are you going to? Who are you
trust?
Taking along with you, or who are you joining with to have these moments where you're like letting loose,
right?
And what happens to when that trust is violated, when they like leave you?
Yeah,
like because then you're just, it's open season for people to take advantage of you.
It's true. I remember that as a kid. It was like my mom and my dad are always like, it's about, you have to not choose your friends, like pick or choose, but like the friends are the ones who are going to keep you safe. Like the company you keep kind of thing. It's like,
right.
But and the other thing, like not kind of in the deep trauma side of it, but the realness of this show for myself as a woman identified being is fucking phenomenal. Like everything that happens in this show was so really real for me as a woman. Like the period, talking about the period, and like even talking about like blood clots and all this thing. I was like, yo, no one does this on TV. There is no one who has the realest conversations like this, or just has these moments where she's like putting a pad on in the bathroom, and like those kind of things were amazing. And at the same time, showing the journey of an artist in whichever place you are. So it was weird for me because I'm like, oh, I'm also a writer. So she's trying to write. I don't know what she's trying to write, but I was like, I've never been at the point where I couldn't write something. It was either like I was writing too much and I'm like, I gotta delete this whole thing, or I don't know what I'm doing. But like the deadline, the idea of the deadline and life getting in the way. But then also the actress. So the friend is an actor or model, or, you know, because they blend nowadays. And that audition she had where they asked her to take off her wig, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was awkward as fuck.
God. And I was like, I can't do this. There's all these facets of my life that are just being out on this screen right now.
The show is really telling, man. Like because I think something that made it super deep for me was realizing, because I didn't know that something had I not known that something had happened to Michelle Cole before doing this, would it have hit me differently, and why? Should it have to be real for me to feel differently about it?
No, it shouldn't have to be, but if it is and you know it, then
right. But that's just another thing that, as an artist, as a writer, creator, director, that she does is like make you like, you have to think about that shit. This is the most realistic portrayal of this thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Before I move on, I'll say the number one thing that I heard before even watching that everyone said was like, take care of yourself. It was like, take care of yourself.
You can't fucking trust your friends to do it according to this show.
True, but it was like, take care of yourself before watching it. Take care of yourself while you're watching it. Because anyone who's been through any type of traumatic experience, it is very real. And like, you might have flashbacks. If you like the characters having flashbacks, you might have flashbacks. Like that's how no separation it is.
4 episodes in, all the trauma that's hit, there's not yet any seeming like resolution is not the right word, but they're still very much in the middle of dealing with it 4 episodes in. So that like if well, this is the Spoilae part, but I'm just saying, if people are watching it and they haven't realized that, I mean,
do you think there will be? Because I feel like part of me while watching it, I was like, it's gonna be like SVU now. We need to find this fucker.
Well,
we need to figure out what happened, like Memento.
It's a story, so you know, stories have their arcs, and as a TV show as a viewer.
Yeah.
It's kind of in us to want some type of upswing,
Right.
No matter what these characters have gone through, we're hoping for some type of, light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So to speak.
That's what's different about this piece.
Well, I'm just saying, naturally, that's
you
what
want.
most people, when they listen to a story, or they don't want to end the story on like a down. You want to end like something was overcome. That's what most people go into stories wanting to experience naturally. I mean, it's not the reality of life, but most people don't share stories with the reality of life in mind. They look at the narrative, the hero, the villain, and the resolution of a conflict. That's the core of most stories.
The detective in me wants to like get at let's get the pieces.
Yeah, like I want justice.
I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know who violated her. I want them to serve justice.
What the fuck was up with the friend who invited her out?
Absolutely.
What's up with that dude?
Absolutely. So I'm not expecting that though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm expecting it either.
But I'm just saying, I could see where if people are coming into this hoping for that, see where Euphoria again is gonna be compared to it. Euphoria has this thread with like Zendaya's character falling in love and trying to find love.
Yeah,
and season 1 ends with her losing that.
Right.
But there's that to root for, right?
Right.
Here, with this show, with I May Destroy You, it's like I want her and her friends to be in a good place. I want them to be able to healthy as possible, deal with the trauma and support one another, or at least realize that they need to. Because I think they just do it, but
Well, I think I don't know if France was about to say, I think the point of it is if we're following this narrative of like, the person who's been through it, the thing on your mind isn't like always, I need to get that dude. I need to figure that out. You're just going through it. And that might be the different thing. That's the different storytelling that's happening. It's like, we're not here for the revenge or the resolution. You're here because like this is what's happening. And this person isn't thinking about that. This person's just, like you said, trying to be okay. And that might be what we're watching. We don't know.
Right.
I don't know. All right, before we head out, we got a couple of trailers. I would say would we recommend this, but I feel like there's more episodes that need to happen before we can be like
4 episodes in, I would say
I
I don't know if I could recommend this to many people that I know.
You gotta prepare. That's
I don't know. Maybe after it's over, we could revisit it.
Yeah, I think that's probably
and see where they ended up and figure it out. But right now, it's heavy duty, man.
Yeah. All right, so we actually had to find these trailers because I don't know. We did. It's like, what's happening? I don't know.
The segment used to be coming soon. Now it's coming soon.
Coming somewhere. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay, so the first trailer is The Tax Collector. Well, let's do rapid fire trailer thing. WTF, Shia LaBeouf?
I'm sucking my teeth because...
Okay, so basically in this trailer, we see Shia LaBeouf is what we call the accountant or something? What is he? Tax collector. He's the tax collector.
Yeah.
And he's with a mob, I want to say in Mexico?
No, it's LA. He's a fucking Cholo John Wick.
Oh, God.
Stop it. You guys are both fucking it up. White Denzel Washington in Compton, played by Shia LaBeouf, known as Shia LaLobo. Okay,
Shia LaLobo
he is collecting taxes on gangs. So that they can gang it up in their gangness.
In the trailer, I'm side-eyeing it because I'm like, does he have like an accent? Is he putting an accent on? And then sometimes I was like, yes, he is. And then at the end, I was like, oh no. So he's just a white guy, right?
Like you can't
He's
tell.
not
He
pretending
puts on
to
the
be
Cholo
Mexican.
accent for no
I
reason. I'm like, wait,
I
what?
don't know. I don't.
His
I
beard?
honestly don't know.
The baldy. I'm like, he's trying to fit in somehow. I don't know if he's a white. I don't know if he's man on fire or
Isn't
fire
he
on
like
man.
4'9"?
I was gonna say
And a half.
I couldn't understand why Shia LaBeouf was casted. I guess that's my question.
Who else could pull off Cholo John Wick?
It
He's
doesn't.
not John Wick.
You see
He
him?
doesn't seem justified, and no one killed his puppy.
Bang.
Well,
He's just going out there taking. I was like, what does that look like? He's out there like taking Mexicans' money. This white dude.
I don't know what this movie is.
that shit got weird. Then there was black dudes and Mexican dudes shooting each other toward the end. I'm like, what is happening? The same director as End of Watch.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
I'm like, what is going on?
I heard End of Watch was good, but I never saw it.
I never saw it either. But
Yeah.
where's this coming out?
Netflix.
To a hood near you.
This is gonna project it on the streets,
On the sidewalk.
on the sidewalk.
Streets always
Oh
win.
shit! Is that Shia LaBeouf?
No, but that was Vin Diesel driving by your window.
That was. It's
All right, what's
because
next?
it's a holiday, you know. All right,
What's-
next. Okay,
what's next?
rapid fire. The Old Guard. It is Charlize Theron, some black girl who looks dope. Find her name.
Find her.
Who else was? There was other people in it.
Ejiofor.
Yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and they're
Yeah.
like people who don't die. I'm sorry, I never read this. It was a comic book.
It still is a comic book, yeah.
It still is a comic book. All right,
The
take it
homegirl
away.
you're talking about is Kiki Lane, but it's
Kiki
about a group of
Lane.
mercenaries who are operating in the shadows these days to the best of their ability, and you come to find out that they've been mercenaries since before M was an actual letter in the alphabet. They're immortal warriors who've been, fighting for their beliefs or the highest bidder. So
So do they?
Okay.
They are,
So it's like Wanted, but they're immortal.
but are they
Yep.
like Knights Templar type of wanted?
older than that, but.
But what are we fighting for? Like the good of humanity?
Well, it starts with them, kind of just doing what they do for the highest bidder, and then falling into an understanding of their abilities and what impact they could have on the world, and then it kind of shifts to a good of humanity type thing.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it looks dope. I'm excited.
It's a series.
Yeah, the
unlike
series, yeah.
Unlike The Tax Collector, this is a series, not a movie.
Oh, I thought it was a movie.
No, in the trailer, in the beginning, it shows Charlize driving through a desert. So I'm like, you're doing this instead of Mad Max. You know,
Or she was double timing it. They were like Mondays and Wednesdays, film
on.
this show. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mad Max.
stop. Well, yeah, it's a Netflix series. Netflix, big budget, obviously. The trailer shows that they're on location in a lot of places, big gunfights. Mm-hmm. They got some heavy hitters, Hollywood people.
I still need to know where the money comes from. I still don't understand.
For record, Kiki Lane,
Kiki Lane.
plays the rookie of this old guard, is the newest immortal.
Right.
Right.
And like-
Clearly.
And
Yes.
it's one of the few times we get to see a black woman be a warrior and immortal and kind of be the next thing coming.
Not Blade, right? Wasn't his mom like a
Not Stella getting her groove back.
vampire.
still like
Angela Bassett is what's her name again? Marie Laveau. So.
If Angela Bassett isn't a black immortal warrior, I don't know who is.
she sure
Oh
is.
shit, she's the Highlander. She got to fight Jennifer Connelly for the title.
Oh my god.
Enough.
And
All right,
Keanu.
moving on.
All right, next one. Over the
Not letting them
moon.
get that off.
I am immortal.
Over the moon.
Over the Moon, which we're not clear if it's a series or a movie,
We
right?
don't know if it's a series or movie.
We could have easily looked that up, but we just watched the trailer.
It's more important to get the trailer out than we know what it is. No.
It is
Do your
a,
own research.
it is an animated Netflix production.
Yes. Wait.
It sort of touches on the mythology of Chang'e, the Chinese moon goddess or goddess of the moon or something like that.
Yeah.
And
a little girl
her-
believes it.
Right, and her eternal love for her forlorn, separated by life and death and space and time lover, Hu Yi, which I guess is embodied by the girl's father in the trailer. I don't know.
I don't know. That was
A lot of
confusing.
stuff going there. Things went right and left and psychedelic and crazy.
She's an astronaut. She's trying to get to the moon so she can reconnect the woman
Do you
with her
have
lover.
any idea how many goddamn fireworks you would need to make it to the outer atmosphere?
She shot fireworks over her spaceship.
Do
It
you
was
have
so cute.
any idea?
But also, like, she just put a plastic helmet on, and I was like, "Do you have oxygen?"
Mike, suspend your disbelief. Have the heart of a child.
No, I'm
Fine.
trying.
Fine.
Fine.
It is beautiful. It's a animated, like
CGI.
CGI Pixar type of thingy. But it is so.
I was gonna say
cute.
DreamWorks, but okay.
No, you're right. It's DreamWorks. You're
The
right.
moon.
You're right. It's DreamWorks.
It's more
The moon.
DreamWorks than Pixar.
It is, and she has a rabbit and a best friend. It's super cute.
Yeah, the animation looks great. Voice acting looks great. I didn't look into the cast, but I'd bet my bottom dollar that it is a cast reflective of the culture
I hope
in
so.
in the show or movie that this is.
It takes a hard pivot.
It's all
Yeah,
Scarlett Johansson.
Yo,
She's like, I can do every voice. It's me.
Yeah.
what?
Very cool trailer. It takes a hard pivot though. So
Yeah.
stay
It
tuned
It
for that.
does, which is exciting though.
Yeah,
Moon. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. I know it was a tough episode. It was not a.
I need
Not
a
a lot
Dyson.
of
I need a
levity.
Dyson fan.
I know. Shh, no sound.
One of them quiet ones that I could have playing while we're recording this shit.
It's so hot. It is very hot. But thanks for sticking with us, and hopefully there'll be more laughs coming. I don't know. It's a pandemic.
We got to review some lighthearted shit.
Yeah, comedies
next
next,
one.
time. We're all about the
Like
comedies.
real comedies, because
yeah.
I Will Destroy You is under comedy.
Right. Not like laughing through pain, like really intense pain.
No,
Just like
like-
laughing.
We got to get some funny ha-has off.
I heard that Will Ferrell movie was funny. A friend of mine.
Eurovision?
Eurovision.
Yeah.
It's like slapstick. I'm not interested, but I heard it was funny.
I owe myself a Will Ferrell movie marathon. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you mean Talladega Nights?
Well,
Other
that'll be
guys?
on there. That'll be on there. Damn right.
Aqualung.
Okay, Aqualung.
But, all right, catch us next time when hopefully we'll, review some slapstick.
Yeah.
Catch you next time.